It's no news that Terence Crawford has begun a mini training camp ahead of his September fight against Canelo Alvarez just immediately after he recovered from an injury. While the undefeated world champion intends to improve his training intensity as the fight draws closer, he has started on a very impressive note, trying out new training and weight-building methods to ensure his size. Disadvantage becomes less of a problem in the ring. Potential fight in September between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford could become one of the most interesting fights of the last decade. The year 2025 began with a series of exciting developments for all boxing fans due to the good number of fights that could take place throughout these 12 months, which have been awaited for some years, and one of those fights is Canelo facing Crawford, the website Essentially Sports reported. Arab Sheikh Turkey, Al Sheikh has all the credit if this fight goes ahead, as it is said that in the past few days he held a meeting with Canelo himself to talk business and a multi-million-dollar purse to acquire the rights to the Mexicans' next fights.
That's right, Cam. Run it up, Cam. That's right. On the toes. There you go, on the toes.
Al Sheikh and Canelo reportedly reached an agreement to stage the fight against Crawford in mid-September as part of the celebrations for Mexico's Independence Day. However, the biggest question is not the fight itself, but the weight difference between the two fighters. Several experts in the boxing world and even some former world champions, such as Mike Tyson, are wondering what the southpaw from Alabama will have to do to match Canelo's weight in the two categories above, and a difference of 14 lbs between them. Terence Crawford, well known in the boxing world for his exceptional skills and unbeaten record, stands as a testament to the power of dedicated training and strategic physical conditioning. Crawford's approach to training for his fight against Canelo Alvarez combines rigorous physical preparation with a strong mental game, setting him apart in the boxing world. Crawford's current training routine is a diverse blend of activities designed to hone his boxing prowess, maintain peak physical condition, improve his punch power, and make him gain the necessary weight he needs to challenge Canelo Alvarez. A typical day in the champ's training routine includes circuit training with weights, strength, and conditioning workouts to improve speed and agility. Core work is where McIntyre bounces a heavy medicine ball off Crawford's stomach while he's doing crunches, mountain runs, and swimming. Terence Crawford is especially a fan of swimming for cardio training. We'll swim for 30 minutes to an hour every night. It's non-impact, basically easy on the joints. It helps with recovery and regeneration of muscle cells and fibers. It's not natural for him, so he has to work a little bit harder. It's a different type of cardio from running. I think it helps tremendously on the cardio side. He then moves to boxing training. With his boxing training, Crawford is always working hard to improve his moves, both on the attack and the defense. You can see this clearly when he practices with his pads. One of the things that makes him stand out is how easily he can switch between two different stances when he fights. At first, his coaches tried to convince him to stick to one stance, but eventually they realized it was better to train him in both. You can still see him practicing this way today. When boxers train for a fight, they often practice sparring with other boxers to improve. This was especially true for Terence Crawford early in his career. He was so good that even top boxers like Timothy Bradley were impressed by him. Nowadays, Crawford is one of the best boxers in the world, and other boxers come to him to spar. They don't usually win, though, because Crawford is so good. Even though Crawford is naturally right-handed, he's also good at fighting with his left hand. When Crawford spars with other boxers, he often uses his world-class left hand. Boxing fans know that developing punching power requires a lot of hard work. One of the main tools used for this purpose is the heavy bag. Crawford, A professional boxer is no exception. Crawford uses the heavy bag to practice his punching technique and build his shoulder endurance. Watching Crawford in action, you can see him throwing powerful punches, quick combinations, and everything in between to get the most out of his training. Crawford mixes up the rhythm of his punches, sometimes hitting the bag softly and other times with full force. This is a common exercise that helps him improve his overall boxing skills. Crawford has been working with his coaches for most of his life. One of the most important parts of his training is practicing on the pads with his coaches. During these sessions, he doesn't focus on hitting hard or fast. Instead, he works on different offensive and defensive scenarios, focusing on technique and tactics. Crawford and his coaches also use other training tools like reaction noodles and a punch shield to improve their movement and precision. Terence Crawford is a phenomenal shadow boxer with some impressive skills. One of the things that makes him stand out is his ability to stay calm and adapt to different situations in the ring. Good at throwing offensive and defensive punches, making it look effortless, but that's not all. Crawford is also incredibly tough mentally. He'll often train in really challenging conditions to push himself harder, and when he's not doing that, he likes to use light 2-kilo dumbbells to shadow box. These help him build strength while also staying fast yet graceful so he can hit hard. While still being quick on his feet, Crawford is consistently looking to improve his accuracy and timing. To achieve this, he uses a specific bag called the double-end bag during his training. It helps him to practice footwork and head movement, which are important skills to have in the boxing ring. Mikey Garcia, who is the younger brother of Ring Magazine's Manager of the Year. Winner Robert Garcia was one such skeptic. The former featherweight, super featherweight, lightweight, and super lightweight champion told Fight Hub TV that he did not fully support the fight despite being one of the most desired by fans of the sport. "I'm not a big fan of that fight," Garcia said, highlighting the weight difference between the Mexican and the American, and remembered how Crawford suffered against Israel Madrimov after moving up to 154 lbs in 3 categories.
There are too many weight classes apart. And although the skills, Crawford is one of the best fighters that I've seen. Now, Canelo...
Despite Crawford's seemingly superior skills, Garcia believes that the size difference will be the deciding factor in a potential matchup. The Mexican fighter's power and size will likely give him the edge. That's why I'm not a fan of that fight. I think Crawford has accomplished everything he had to accomplish from 140 to 147, and now 154. That's even bigger for him, Garcia. Added that if Crawford really wants to push himself, he could go the route of an undisputed fight in his current division. He opined, however, there is a problem, but there's no money in that. Garcia acknowledged that a fight between Canelo and Crawford would generate substantial revenue. But as a fan of the fights, he is not in favor of the matchup, as he said he would prefer to see Alvarez face fighters within his weight class or higher, such as David Benavidez or a rematch with Dimitri Bivol.
Fighting at 168, Crawford just moved up to 154, and he had some trouble with that in that fight. Now, where do you plan on going? 164, 65, 66?
He wanted to challenge himself to go up to 175 again and challenge himself against those fighters and not a smaller guy going up in weight, Garcia explained. As the long-anticipated showdown between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez continues to ignite excitement and debate within the boxing community, even more boxing professionals are giving their contributions. Crawford, celebrated for his versatility and technical prowess, is aiming to move up 2 weight classes to challenge the undisputed super middleweight champion, a daring leap that has divided opinions among boxing experts.